The federal government sent $500 million to Louisiana to help people who cannot pay their rent because of the pandemic. New Orleans is in line to get $46 million, but has only paid out about $18 million so far. Investigative reporter David Hammer reports that local governments have had a really tough time getting money into the hands of the people who need it most.
Renters lined up for hours at Joe Brown Park last week for emergency rental assistance grants. They were there to fill out paperwork even though they had already applied months earlier, and even though the city of New Orleans said it had already run out of money to pay the grants.
No one wants to be here. No one wants to do all this paperwork so that they can get by for another 2 months.
What applicants like this bartender haven't been told is there's actually millions more in emergency rental assistance money that's tied up in a confusing government bureaucracy. Here's how it breaks down. New Orleans received almost $12 million of federal funding directly from the U.S. Treasury in February and another $6 million in June for a total of $18 million. Almost 17,000 applications poured in. In some cases, money went to the tenants. In others, landlords had to apply with their tenants and the money went directly to the landlords for missed rent. But 6 months later, the $18 million was only enough to pay about 3,000 applicants. The city was supposed to get another $14 million from the state, enough to pay another 2,800 applicants about $5,000 each. And it looked like that's what happened on July 1st when Mayor LaToya Cantrell's administration asked the city council to put the $14 million into the city's emergency rental assistance account. Even the city council budget chairman, Jared Brossette, thought that meant the city had the money in hand.
Has that $14 million been acted upon yet? That's a grave question that needs to be answered.
But 7 weeks later, the city's housing policy director, Marjoriana Willman, says the first portion of that money is only just now arriving from Baton Rouge.
We have not received it yet, and we will not receive it all at one time.
She said the state is reviewing applications 500 at a time before releasing the money.
I do think that once they see that our files are good and they're comfortable with them, we'll receive more funding much quicker.
Brossette says he can't get straight answers from the Cantrell administration about how the money is flowing. He's been asking why the city isn't tapping into another housing fund called the NIF, the Neighborhood Housing Improvement Fund. The city used it for the Emergency Rental Assistance Program just last year. Cantrell is so dedicated to the NIF, she wrote ordinances when she was a city councilwoman, making sure the NIF money could only be used for 3 things: home ownership, fixing blight, and rental assistance. But we got a copy of an internal City Hall memo written by Cantrell's Chief Administrative Officer, Gilbert Montano, in March, and signed by Cantrell. It suggests sending $600,000 from the NIF to the New Orleans Business Alliance, a nonprofit that helps with business development, not housing. We showed that memo to housing advocate Andronika Morris.
What? No, that's not what this money is for.
And we showed it to Brossette.
That is a violation of the city charter and the laws and the code of the city of New Orleans.
In a phone call last week, Montano said his staff realized the memo was a mistake and caught it before the money went out the door. Despite what the memo says, Willman says no money went from the NIF to the Business Alliance.
It did not happen. It did not happen that way.
But Brossette and Morris both say they've now lost trust in the city's ability to run the housing fund and the rental assistance program right when the needs are the greatest. David Hammer, Eyewitness News.
Louisiana's Assistant Commissioner of Administration, Desiree Thomas, says that the state has sent the first $2.5 million of the $14 million and is now reviewing more files this week. She also says applicants should not wait until they're facing eviction to complete their applications.